It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. You know who I am, Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years, now a bunch of media gigs. I'll be doing Cowboys Giants on Thanksgiving for Westwood One. Looking forward to that one as you guys are driving around. And then Saturday night, I got a great one. Air Force at San Diego State, 2 of the best teams in the Mountain West. That's a 9 p.m. Eastern time game. Should be awesome. Love when you guys send me the screenshots of me on TV. Spread the word winner will be announced Friday. Absolutely loving the idea of somebody quote tweeting at Ross Tucker Pod. It's that simple. I'm looking for a few good quote tweeters at Ross Tucker Pod of any shows we post this week, any clips we post this week. Quote tweet and say, love this show, thought this point was great. I don't care what you say. Say whatever you want to say. Sponsor confirmation email. Man, there's a lot of good ones. Zengo, First Leaf, that wine company I like, my wife loves. Masterworks, if you're looking to diversify the old portfolio, certainly Simply Safe and Uncommon Goods, I'm a huge fan of. And then the YouTube shout out is always awesome. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. You get a cameo style video. People pay for these things. You get it for free. All you have to do is hit the thumbs up at youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL and make a comment. You know, your comment could even be something like, would love the shout out video, Ross. That would make it easier for me to pick who gets it. Speaking of shout outs, Thomas Hartman. I think it's Hartman with 2 T's. He's the patron of the day. Patreon.com/RT Media. Love every day in which we get a new patron. It's big show time.
The Big Show.
All right, we'll start with last night where the 49ers proved they're a legitimate contender in the NFC with a 38-10 blowout of the Arizona Cardinals.
Couple thoughts on that, Jack, that are interesting. First of all, I tweeted this last night during the game. I agree. I do think the Niners are a good team and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But last night during the game, they had 5 wins and the Cardinals had 4. Just funny, right? Now, listen, the Cardinals were 4-6, Niners 5-4, big difference. Now the Niners are 6-4, Cardinals are 4-7, which obviously is a big difference. But the perception of those 2 teams before that game, even early in the game, was far different than what their records were. And I think maybe last night showed rightfully so. By the way, just side note, since I got a bunch of tweets about it and emails about it, I can't remember the last time I was this sore. Let me just tell you guys, no matter what kind of shape you're in, if you don't run on hard surfaces, I don't recommend doing that for a mile plus while dragging luggage while in like dress shoes. I do not recommend that. I haven't been this sore it's like I played a game. It's actually worse than I played a game. I am so sore from being a total idiot on Sunday night trying to catch that flight. Absolutely brutal. All right. Last night's game. Mexico City was rainy. I got to be honest with you. Maybe this is my ignorance. I never picture Mexico City being rainy. I just don't picture rain that much in Mexico. I know that's just it's because I've been to like Cancun or wherever, right? And I've been there when it's nice and the weather's awesome, but it probably rains in Mexico City all the time. What do I know? I will say, you guys know this, big fan of the international games, big fan. Looked like there was an awesome crowd. Very, by the way, it felt like pro-Niners crowd, even though the game was supposed to be a Cardinals home game, and Arizona's obviously a lot closer to Mexico, certainly felt like very much a pro-Niners crowd. And, you know, one of my big takeaways watching the game, kind of what Jack said. look out for the Niners, man. I mean, they were feeding McCaffrey early. They gave Elijah Mitchell the ball more late, but they got a pretty good running back rotation going. And their weapons, they've got as many weapons, it feels like, as anybody. Ayuk is coming into his own, had a couple touchdowns. Kittle was awesome run after the catch. He had a couple touchdowns. Deebo Samuel made a big play on a reverse. So now you got a couple of stud receivers, couple of really good running backs, awesome run after the catch, tight end. Look out for the Niners. I thought Colt McCoy did about as good a job as he could behind that offensive line of getting the ball out and converting a bunch of third downs, actually. Got the ball to Dortch, got the ball to DeAndre Hopkins, but the Colts are undermanned up front on offense, and defensively, the tackling was really poor. And they made a game of it for about a half, but that was it. Then the Niners really pulled away after that. Before I forget, it's funny, I actually had a buddy of mine text me and say, man, I can tell that Simply Safe is important to you. It is. It really is. Because I've had a couple incidents in my life, and I don't want you guys to have those incidents. I don't know most of you. I know you feel like you know me. I wish I knew more of you. I kind of just know the patrons, on the private Slack channel, the Tuckheads. But I know there's a lot more of you out there, and I just want you to have peace of mind this holiday season and moving forward. I just want you to never have an incident at your house. I will tell you, especially with all of us getting so many packages delivered and stuff, that crystal clear HD live stream of your security cameras is amazing. There's a reason why it was named Best Home Security System of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. Look, I'm going to be gone Thanksgiving. I'm going to be gone all weekend. I'm going to be gone from Wednesday to Sunday again. Do you think I would do that and not have a security system for my wife and daughters? Of course not. Do not miss your chance to save big on the only security system I recommend. Get 50% off any new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/Tucker today. It's our biggest discount of the year. So if you're going to do it now. That's simplysafe.com/Tucker. No safe like Simply Safe.
It's time for the all-important Power Rankings. The worst team in the history of the NFL is...
Number 32, the Houston Texans.
They are contemplating, I believe, making a change at quarterback. Not the only team that's contemplating that. And I would say I'm sort of okay with that at this point. I think you probably know what you have in Davis Mills, but to be able to tell for sure how much is Davis Mills and how much is the offensive coordinator or the people around him, maybe you throw Kyle Allen in there and see what he does for a few games. I get it.
Number 31, the Los Angeles Rams.
Wild. 31 back-to-back weeks. Stafford back in the concussion protocol. Just an absolutely awful lost season for the Rams. What I'm really curious about will be what the fallout is moving forward in terms of, do they just go all in again? Do guys want out of there? Next year will be very interesting for the Rams this offseason.
Number 30, the Cleveland Browns.
Really bad. Just really bad that anybody that wants to run the football on the Browns can run the football on the Browns. And you run the football against the Browns. And you run the football against the Browns, Devin Singletary. And you do, James Cook. Really curious to see what that team's like when Deshaun Watson comes back. It's fascinating, isn't it? Like, some of these bad teams, it makes them interesting when they get somebody else in the lineup at quarterback.
Number 29, the Carolina Panthers.
They're fine. I mean, we know what they are. They've already made the change at head coach. I thought that the defense played really, really well against the Ravens, but Baker Mayfield had a chance to kind of keep the momentum. Wasn't able to do it. I mean, P.J. Walker could not have been worse than what Baker did.
Number 28, the New Orleans Saints.
They got a win, so I moved them up a spot. I don't know. I mean, Andy Dalton played better. I still don't think they're very good. They got a win, though, over the 31st ranked team, so I guess that moved them up one spot. This week, I put the Browns behind them.
Number 27, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Had a bye, so not much to say.
Number 26, the Denver Broncos.
So there are a bunch of teams down here, Jack, that really invested a lot for this season, and they're in my bottom 5 or 6 teams. I mean, the Rams, the Panthers, the Saints, the Broncos, they've been a lot of assets invested in this season for it to go this poorly. The weird thing is I thought that might have been Russell Wilson's best game. Bizarre.
Number 25, Pittsburgh Steelers.
A lot of teams down here at the bottom that you don't often see down here at the bottom. But the Steelers, I was really disappointed in them defensively. I mean, a home game against a divisional opponent who doesn't have Jamar Chase and Mixon's banged up, and you got all your guys, Hayward and TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, and you give up that many points? Wow, really bad performance by the Steelers D.
Number 24, the Arizona Cardinals.
Kind of already talked about them. It's a lost season for them, and they're another one that's got a lot invested. They gave Kyler that big new contract. I'll be curious to see what the fallout ends up being there.
Number 23, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Isn't it unbelievable? Even though the Raiders are going absolutely nowhere this year, you still play to win every game, and it still is a good feeling if you're a Raiders fan when they win a game like that. It just is. I mean, it just, like, I totally get the joy of the Raiders fans. You're on the road at Denver, division opponent. It's still nice to find a way to win that game when everybody, I don't know, Jack, remember Fezzik last week on the Even Money podcast? He went 3 units on the Broncos, told me I was going to lose my teaser with the Raiders, and they won outright.
Number 22, the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons have a unique thing going. They found another way to win a game. I mean, what's their record now? What do they have, 5 wins? I mean, I didn't know if the Falcons would have 5 wins all year. And here they are at 5-6. The Bucs are 5-5. So the Falcons are still right there in the win column, in the mix with the Bucs. Good for Arthur Smith. Heck of a coaching job. Good for all of you, by the way, that go to Uncommon Goods. They are my secret weapon when it comes to the holidays. Totally stress-free. I know you're like me, guys. You don't have good ideas for gifts. You don't. Let Uncommon Goods do the work for you. They've got so many cool gifts. Now look, I am more of an experienced person. So like the cooking classes, the mixology classes, those are the things that I like. But I know like people that like, something unique and cool. They've got art and jewelry, if that's what your significant other, whoever's into, home and bar stuff, if you're like me and that's what you're into. They even give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice for every purchase. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Tucker. That's uncommongoods.com/Tucker for 15% off. Do not miss out. Limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We are all out of the ordinary.
Number 21, the Chicago Bears.
Justin Fields, there's like some talk that he could be done for the year. There's some talk he could play this week. There's a lot sort of feeling like it's up in the air about Fields and his health right now, which is interesting because obviously that he was the one thing making their season like exciting.
Number 20, the Indianapolis Colts.
So they're definitely a better team with Jeff Saturday. Definitely a better team. They weren't able to get done against a good Eagles team, but I was still overall impressed with the Colts to the point where I moved them up because that's back-to-back really good performances by them.
Number 19, the Green Bay Packers.
They only moved down one spot by losing on Thursday night to the Titans. Rodgers not playing well. They're not a terrible team, but they're not good, and they're not going anywhere. And I moved the Lions ahead of them. Wow. That's got to be a punch to the gut for Packers fans when the Lions are ahead of you, but they deserve it.
Number 18, the Detroit Lions.
Jack, you're really leaning into it now.
I was trying to do more of the emphasis on Detroit. Like you said, I was doing some game film myself yesterday. I guess it came back out as Detroit. I was trying to put more emphasis on the Detroit part.
No, you did the total opposite there. You just said Detroit. You didn't.
Detroit.
It's Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit.
We'll get it one of these days.
Just think Troy. Think Troy, not D. Yeah, you totally butchered that. But how about Campbell? Dan Campbell, 3 wins in a row. Now they play Thanksgiving. I'm glad for the Lions. 3 wins in a row. Now they play the Bills on Thanksgiving. That's a cool thing. It's a really, really cool thing that they get to play, have some momentum going into that game against the Bills. Big game for both those teams. I mean, here's what I'd say. If the Lions win that game, Dan Campbell is definitely getting a 3rd year. Definitely. If they lose, he still probably will, but it's up in the air a little bit more.
Number 17, Los Angeles Chargers.
They are what I thought they were. Solid team. Could probably beat anybody, but could also probably lose to anybody. They don't get it done late in games on a consistent basis. Certainly not against good teams like the Chiefs. Go Chargers. Go San Diego Superchargers. San Diego Chargers. I'll be out there. Not for very long. Be out there. I land Friday morning. Going to try to catch the red eye Saturday night. But, yeah, it'll be lovely because San Diego's lovely.
Number 16, the Washington Commanders.
Ron Rivera can flat out coach. You know who else can actually? I know a lot of people don't like him. Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio can coach, man. I mean, their defense has been awesome. Awesome for a while. They've won, 4 out of 5? They are right there in the playoff race in the NFC. Man, if they had just held on to the Vikings, they'd be right there. But if the playoffs started today, the Commanders would be the 8th seed. Seattle 6-4, Commanders are 6-5. So they would be right there. Going to be fun coming down the stretch.
Number 15, the New York Jets.
Robert Saleh is not committing to a quarterback. Let me just tell you what that means. It means he's going to switch quarterbacks. Okay? If Zach Wilson was his guy, he would be 1,000% behind Zach Wilson now. Now, maybe there's like a 5% chance that Saleh said that just to try to send a message to Zach Wilson and also to let the guys on defense know that Zach Wilson doesn't just have carte blanche to say or do whatever he wants and that he's on thin ice. Maybe that's why Saleh did it. But I think he's probably more likely to switch quarterbacks. And think about it. Like, if Joe Flacco started those 2 games against the Patriots, who do you think wins those 2 games? I think the Jets do.
Number 14, New England Patriots.
Man, I mean, they found a way to win, but I don't know if you're really feeling good about them if you're a Patriots fan, right? Like, are you feeling good about the Patriots right now? I don't know that you are. I mean, I know 6-4, probably end up winning 10 games. I guess that's good. But didn't you want to see some more progress on offense or from Mac Jones this year? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I would feel if I was a Patriots fan, to be honest with you.
Number 13, Cincinnati Bengals.
As bad as that loss was for the Steelers, that was really impressive by the Bengals. Really impressive. They needed it. They got it done. That was, I think I saw where Joe Burrow said one of the biggest wins since he's been there. And I agree. Just with everything that went into that one. I agree, Joe.
Number 12, the New York Giants.
And dropping. That was a really poor performance. They had found a way to win a couple games where it wasn't great performances, but you get shellacked at home by the Lions, you're going to drop a few spots. And they did. They deserve to, because these other teams, Bucks, Seahawks, Niners, Cowboys, I absolutely would take those other teams over the Giants in a best of 7 in my backyard right now.
Number 11, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Had a bye, so really not much to say.
Number 10, the Seattle Seahawks.
What do you think I should say about them or would say about them, Jack?
Seattle Seahawks?
Mm-hmm.
They played good. I mean, I'm trying. Who did they had a bye this week, didn't they? I don't even remember. Yes, Geno Smith had a bye, so I don't even know what you would say about Seattle.
I would say had a bye, so not much to say.
Team of the week. Were they rating team? Were they 2 weeks ago? Team of the week. They were a couple weeks ago. They were team of the week.
Yeah, they were the symbol team of the week. Good, Jack. I like it. Little sponsor incorporation there. You're learning. It's already better than Briar right there, Jack. I like it.
Number 9, San Francisco 49ers.
Kind of already talked about the Niners. They're, the NFC is interesting because for a while it was like, there's no good teams. The Rams aren't good this year. The Bucks aren't good this year. The Packers aren't good this year. Guess what? The Niners are looking good now. The Cowboys are looking good now. The Vikings are good. The Eagles are good. So the NFC is, I think, a little bit better than maybe we were giving them credit for.
Number 8, Dallas Cowboys.
You know what's cool about the Cowboys? They have beer in the press box, I believe, after the game. And I will be there on Thursday. And I will partake in a beer. And I will be wishing that it was Labatt Blue Light. I'm guessing in Texas it won't be Labatt Blue Light, but I'll be wanting it to be Labatt Blue Light. There's no better way to watch your team play on game day than with the pristine, baby, Canadian goodness of a cold Labatt Blue Light in hand. Or there's no better way after you call a broadcast and you're going to be stuck in traffic than with the pristine Canadian goodness of a cold Labatt Blue Light in hand. Stock up. Be the MVP of your tailgate. Share a Labatt on game day with your crew. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
Number 7, the Tennessee Titans.
I just could not be more impressed with Mike Vrabel, with his team. Even when Ben Jones is banged up, they move Brewer, who's 6'1", 275 to center, and he balls out. They're not my favorite team I played for, like the Bills. They're not my hometown team like the Eagles, but the Titans are like my spirit animal team, okay, the way they play. Not really a thing, but that's what I'm going to say.
Number 6, the Baltimore Ravens.
Was not pretty, which is why I actually dropped them a spot. They won. What? Ross, they won. You can't drop. Yes, I can. I can do whatever I want. It's my power rankings. It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast power rankings. And I think the team ahead of them is better than them right now.
Number 5, Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. They had a bye but still moved up. Ooh, I like that. I like when it ends in that cadence like that. Look, the Dolphins are good. And the Ravens struggled at home with the Panthers. I like the way the Dolphins have been playing as of late. I think if they played a series of games in Wichita, Kansas, I think the Dolphins would win them.
Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings.
I only dropped them one spot. Remember this. No matter how much you win by or no matter how much you lose by, it only counts as one game. Now, Thursday night, when the Vikings play the Patriots Thanksgiving, that's a different ball game. And if they lose that one, a second consecutive home game, then we'll have a little bit more to be said.
Number 3, the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. Bills moved up ahead of the Vikings because but the Vikings just beat them. Yeah, I don't care. There were some miraculous things that happened in that game. The Justin Jefferson catch, the Josh Allen fumbled quarterback sneak. If those teams played 5 times neutral site, I'm taking the Bills.
Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles.
What? Jack, I dropped the Eagles from the top spot. even though they lost. You know why? Because the Eagles aren't playing their best right now. You watch that game. I mean, they scored 17 points against the Colts. Found a way to win, which is far and away the most important thing. Far and away. They found a way to win. But it was not a very impressive performance. Kudos to the defense for the Eagles to get it done. And if you're down 10 in the fourth quarter on the road and you win the game, then that's impressive. But I had to move this other team ahead of them. I just feel better about this other team right now.
Russ's number one team, which is totally meaningless, but it's fun and will get many of you incredibly annoyed, is...
Number one is the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I know the Eagles have a better record, but if you watch these two teams play the last couple games, it's really hard not to put the Chiefs ahead of the Eagles. It's really hard not to think that in a best of 5, can't do it in Wichita, Kansas, because that's almost like a home game for the Chiefs. We'd have to do that one in Columbus, Ohio. We would do Chiefs-Eagles at the Shoe in Columbus, Ohio, best of 7. I think Mahomes and the Chiefs win that best of 7. I think I am besting Steve right now on the Even Money podcast. I'm up almost 19 units. Please do your boy a favor and check out the Even Money podcast today. I'm on a roll. And you know what else you should do? In all sincerity, go to myfrontpagestory.com. It is such a cool gift. I guess not everybody looks at it like I do. I don't know. I for me, it is a no-brainer to get it for a loved one. It is awesome. It's a story all about them. Or maybe you get it for your wife and it's like an anniversary thing. It's a story all about you guys and your relationship and how you met. Or maybe it's for a child, or maybe it's for a parent. All I'm telling you is, I know a lot of you are going to get these because they're awesome. Do me a favor. Take a video of when the person opens it or a picture, because I love seeing those smiles and those tears. It's amazing. Myfrontpagestory.com, Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, HumanHeadNYC.com, SteakhouseSports.com, Go-Bangles.com, Evergreen Economics, Vision Comics with an X, BackOfficeScheduler.com. Fantasy Feast Part 1 tomorrow. Special guest tomorrow. Other than that, I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.